As a white woman who leads a black-led sport and celebrated here, I want to show a light on black women. They don't get the media coverage that they deserve.
There's white privilege every day that I see it.
The unknown players in the WNBA, they have been overlooked for decades because they're innocent black victims. It's so sad.
This is going to be called racist. Paige Bueckers, racially confused.
Paige Bueckers just shocked everyone. On a national stage, she apologized for what she called white privilege.
The increased level of indoctrination led Paige Bueckers to downplay her own achievements while attributing her success to one of the greatest myths, the myth of white privilege.
Saying white athletes like her get more media attention while black women are overlooked. Now fans are asking, does Caitlyn Clark have to apologize too?
The Caitlyn Clark effect is real. There's evidence of that in college women's basketball ratings, and there's evidence of that now in the 2025 WNBA draft on ESPN delivered the second most viewed WNBA draft ever, averaging 1.25 million viewers. The spin is real from the media.
Caitlyn, who's dominated the game and faced nonstop hate,
how much Paige Bueckers is moving the needle. There's already statistical evidence. No, she is not moving the needle in women's sports or women's basketball nearly to the effect of Caitlyn Clark.
Is being dragged into this mess. Today, we're breaking down Paige's words, what they really mean for Caitlyn, and why this story is bigger than basketball. If you love Caitlyn Clark, comment 100% below right now and show your support. Let's get into it.
Who are you looking forward to matching up against?
Everybody, honestly. I'm just so excited to compete.
Paige Bueckers, she ain't gonna be Caitlyn Clark. Not now, not today, not ever. Sorry, it ain't gonna happen.
Let's start with exactly what Paige Bueckers said that set off this firestorm. It happened during her acceptance speech at a high-profile awards event.
As a white woman who leads a black-led sport and celebrated here, I want to show a light on black women. They don't get the media coverage that they deserve. In the WNBA last season, the postseason awards, 80% of the winners were black, but they got half the amount of coverage as the white athletes. So I think it's time for change.
Where she was honored for her incredible achievements in women's basketball. But instead of just celebrating her success, Paige took the moment to deliver a message about race and privilege.
Everything that I say relative to this stuff gets twisted into it's racist. Are we all just supposed to fall in line, or can we all actually watch?
She told the audience that, as a white woman, she recognized her own white privilege and that she benefits from it every day.
Paige Bueckers attributes her success to the myth of white privilege. It could have devastating consequences on her drawing power in the WNBA.
Paige highlighted a statistic that 80% of the postseason award winners in women's basketball are black women. Yet despite their dominance on the court, they receive barely half the media coverage that white athletes do.
She got sexist, racist treatment from sexist, racist women.
She went even further, saying that because of her platform and visibility as a white athlete, she had a duty to amplify black voices and shine a light on their accomplishments. Paige argued that society and the media need to give more recognition to black women in sports.
Paige Bueckers, racially confused, speaks like a lot of your friends do. I always told guys, why do you guys speak different when you're talking to an African-American person? Paige Bueckers is that girl. A little racially confused, sexual orientation to be determined, but Caitlyn Clark was not.
Pointing out that they're often overlooked despite their hard work and talent. Her words weren't vague. She clearly stated that race plays a role in how much attention an athlete receives.
Paige Bueckers was interviewed by Time magazine. It was an extensive piece, very well put together. It would have been a great promotional piece for the WNBA, but they just couldn't help themselves. They had to go out of their way to make it all about race. Paige Bueckers just had to attribute her success to white privilege while victimizing black players in the WNBA.
And she openly acknowledged that she benefits from that imbalance. This wasn't just a casual mention either. Paige stood confidently, making it the central focus of her speech, almost downplaying her own achievements to elevate the idea that she only received her spotlight because of her skin color.
The thing is, Paige Bueckers is not 100% wrong. There is a such thing as privilege, but it ain't white privilege. It's not black privilege. It's the privilege that you have when you're elite in your field. She actually believes she has white privilege, but I also think that she is doing this to be accepted. It is no secret that the WNBA isn't exactly welcoming to straight white women. Paige Bueckers was not given endorsement deals over Kennedy Carter because of white privilege. She was given these deals because of her platform.
That's why so many fans felt blindsided. What should have been a celebration of her dedication, skills, and grind on the court suddenly turned into what sounded like an apology for being white. For many, it raised an uncomfortable question. Why would a superstar like Paige, who's worked tirelessly to become one of the best in the game, feel the need to attribute her success to privilege rather than her own talent and sacrifice?
It's still an issue every single day. No, it's not. Truth of the matter is, nobody gives a rat's ass, including you. Look, you get out, you get after it. One of the great things about basketball is rich or poor, if you got a ball, you got a chance. You don't even need a hoop. I didn't even have a hoop.
Let's unpack why Paige Bueckers' apology for white privilege hit a nerve, and why so many people, especially fans of athletes like Caitlyn Clark, are deeply concerned about the message it sends. On the surface, Paige's speech sounded like it came from a good place. She wanted to show solidarity and uplift black women in sports.
The ladies of the WNBA are racist, sexist, and insecure, and they can't stand, for whatever the reason, that Caitlyn Clark has a better game than they've ever had, any of them, even the white lady.
But the deeper problem lies in what she was actually saying between the lines, that her success wasn't fully earned on her own merit, but rather handed to her because of her skin color. And that's where the contradiction starts to unravel.
All right, Time Magazine has become the place. It's time to acknowledge your white privilege when you come into the league as Paige Bueckers, the first overall pick of the WNBA draft. In an interview, bowed to the woke mob. I bow to you. I bow to you, while discussing her perceived advantages over black players in the league.
Everyone who's followed Paige's career knows that her rise to the top wasn't luck or privilege. It was built on years of hard work, relentless training, and an undeniable love for the game. She wasn't handed accolades just because she's white. She earned them through unmatched court vision, elite passing skills, and leadership under pressure. Yet in her speech, she essentially told the world that her skin tone played a bigger role than her grind ever did. That message doesn't just downplay her own story. It sends a dangerous signal to every young white athlete watching. It plants the idea that no matter how hard they work or how talented they are, their success will always be seen through the lens of privilege instead of perseverance.
Because she's out of her mind if she's talking about marketability. Marketability is an individual thing. Some people are marketable because of their personality. Some people are marketable because of their success. The great ones are marketable. Why? Say it with me. Because of both.
And let's be clear, this narrative doesn't just stay with Paige Bueckers. It spills over onto other white athletes who faced intense scrutiny just for being dominant in their sport. That's exactly where Caitlyn Clark comes in. Caitlyn Clark has been nothing short of phenomenal on the basketball court. Her record-breaking performances, deep three-pointers, and ability to take over games have drawn millions of fans and reignited excitement in women's basketball. Yet despite her undeniable talent, Caitlyn has been targeted time and time again, accused of getting more media attention solely because she's white. Her critics claim she overshadows black athletes unfairly, even though her stats and performances speak for themselves.
People tend to favor white people, white males, white women. Really? Have you seen commercials? Have you seen who's from the NBA in our commercials? I'll name you one white dude.
So when Paige publicly apologizes for white privilege, knowingly or not, she reinforces the very narrative that's been used to tear down Caitlyn Clark all season long. It's almost like handing more ammunition to those who want to erase Caitlyn's accomplishments by reducing them to nothing more than a product of her race. This is why fans are so frustrated. It's not about denying that inequality exists. It's about pushing back against the idea that white athletes should apologize or feel guilty simply for being successful. Let's not forget, the same people who applauded Paige's speech were quick to dismiss Caitlyn's historic performances as overhyped or media-driven. They ignored the fact that Caitlyn shattered records, led her team with heart, and inspired millions with her game-changing style of play.
The stars of the WNBA are promoting this unmonetizable turd in the media. The media is seeking out all the big stars. Which in the case of the WNBA, that means Caitlyn Clark, along with players the media wishes were big stars like Angel Reese and Paige Bueckers. How will the mainstream media choose to cover it? Like I told you guys before, I think the mainstream media is going to pit Caitlyn Clark against Paige Bueckers. I think they're going to pit them against each other. I think the media will try to make Paige Bueckers the face of the WNBA. Question is, will normal people embrace her?
Instead, they chose to minimize her contributions by claiming she benefited from something she had no control over, her skin color. Paige's speech, whether intentionally or not, validated that narrative and made it harder for athletes like Caitlyn to stand tall without having to apologize for who they are. And here's another uncomfortable truth. The concept of privilege cuts both ways, yet only certain stories get highlighted. Charlemagne the God famously wrote a book titled Black Privilege, where he argued that privilege isn't always about race. It's about mindset, responsibility, and the ability to seize opportunities. He made the point that no matter where you come from or what challenges you face, you can create your own path through hard work and determination. That's the very spirit Caitlyn Clark embodies, but it's completely overlooked when the conversation gets reduced to skin color. By framing her success as an example of white privilege, Paige unintentionally disrespected not just her own journey, but every other white athlete who's poured their soul into the game. And that's exactly why fans are rallying around Caitlyn Clark right now, because they know she's next in line to be painted with the same brush, no matter how hard she's worked to get where she is.
WNBA, not relative in marketability until Caitlyn Clark. Period. You can blame it on black, white, green, or purple. You gotta have game, and Caitlyn's got a different game, and you gotta have personality. And Caitlyn Clark, the way she conducts herself, is the right personality to lead that league. So stop with all the rest of the bullshit.
Now let's talk directly about Caitlyn Clark, because whether Paige Bueckers intended it or not, her speech dragged Caitlyn right into the center of this conversation. And here's the truth that nobody can deny. Caitlyn Clark has absolutely nothing to apologize for. From the moment Caitlyn stepped onto a basketball court, she has let her game speak louder than anything else. This is an athlete who shattered NCAA records, broke long-standing barriers, and brought millions of new fans to women's basketball. People who had never even tuned into the sport before. Her logo threes, flashy assists, and fearless mentality electrified arenas and filled seats. She didn't just play the game, she transformed it. Television ratings skyrocketed, arenas sold out, and merchandise flew off the shelves. All because of Caitlyn's on-court brilliance. That's not privilege, that's excellence. But despite all of her success, Caitlyn Clark has been under fire constantly. Throughout her college career and into her pro debut, detractors have thrown the same tired accusations her way. That she only gets attention because she's white, that the media favors her unfairly, and that she takes the spotlight away from black athletes who deserve it more. Let's be clear, this narrative is both false and damaging.
Leonard McKelvey, he's a smart dude. 8 years ago, he wrote an excellent book. Black privilege, opportunity comes to those who create it. Leonard McKelvey is proud to have black privilege, and he should be. He's proud that he did not believe the myth of mythical racism. He didn't allow himself to become a victim. He didn't allow himself to be put into a marginalized group. Leonard McKelvey earned his success the American way. You can make the exact same case for Paige Bueckers, but for some reason,
Caitlyn didn't ask the media to follow her. She didn't beg for cameras to show up to her games. The attention came because she was doing things no one else was doing. She earned every headline, every highlight reel, and every bit of fan support through sheer performance. And yet, time and again, people have tried to minimize that by dragging race into it. We've seen it before. During intense matchups, Caitlyn faced harsh trash talk, hard fouls, and aggressive confrontations.
2025 WNBA draft average 1.5, the second highest ratings ever. So its peak was 1 million viewers less than the average for the Caitlyn Clark experience. The viewership literally got cut in half. Hell of a lot of people said, Caitlyn Clark's gone, I'm going to do something else with my day. And of course, last year, Caitlyn Clark came out. The WNBA saw its far and away biggest rating ever for the WNBA draft.
More than most players see in an entire season. And when she responded with competitive fire, she was painted as the villain. Remember the debates after her heated games against LSU or South Carolina? Critics were quick to say Caitlyn was too arrogant, too confident, too brash, labels that somehow didn't stick to other players showing the same fire. Even when she stayed calm and composed, they came for her anyway, accusing her of benefiting from white privilege just because the cameras were on her. This is why Paige Bueckers' apology matters so much. Her words, intentionally or not, added fuel to the fire that's been burning against Caitlyn all along. By saying white athletes like herself get more media attention because of privilege, she opened the door for critics to lump Caitlyn into that same category. As if Caitlyn didn't earn her fame, but instead got it handed to her simply because of her skin color. That is completely unfair. Caitlyn Clark has been targeted with cheap shots, elbows, flagrant fouls, and endless criticism, yet she's handled it all with grace and resilience. She's never once asked for special treatment or complained about the extra attention. If anything, she's used her platform to uplift the entire women's game, bringing visibility, ratings, and opportunities for players of all backgrounds.
Number one pick in the WNBA draft. That has meant something once last year. Caitlyn Clark. See Leah Boston. Are you going to share that money? Is that what you're going to do? Well, this is unfair. They're paying me too much money. I must share this money. Yes, I must. Now, Paige Bueckers, you ain't sharing shit, and you don't know shit. I feel like it should be equal opportunity. Nothing in life is equal opportunity, Peaches. Nothing. If I own a company, I'm not going out and saying, well, I must need a black person, I must need a white person, I must need an Asian person. No, I'm trying to find the person, and I would never do it with an athlete, but that's just me. I am trying to find the person who helps me make the most money.
Look at the facts. Her record-breaking performances have led to packed arenas, massive merchandise sales, and a spike in interest for the WNBA like we haven't seen in decades.
The reason WNBA women have not been, quote, marketable is because they have been 1,000% unlikable. And that includes white women like Diana Taurasi. Unlikable. Absolutely unlikable. So stop with the nonsense. Stop with the garbage. There are very few women, if any, outside of Caitlyn Clark that is legitimately marketable. You can have that Sabrina girl. She ain't marketable. The only other one is Angel Reese, because she takes off her clothes, shakes her ass, wears booty shorts, and truthfully is a pretty good player in terms of her particular craft, rebounding. And she got a pretty good personality, whether you like her or not. I happen to watch her, and I think she's got a pretty good personality for marketability.
If that's not growing the game, what is? And let's not forget, Caitlyn has always shown respect to her opponents, no matter their race. After tough battles, she's praised black players like Angel Reese, Aaliyah Boston, and many others for their skills and competitiveness. She's never played into divisive narratives. Instead, she's focused on the love of the game, her craft, and inspiring young athletes, both black and white, to dream bigger. So when people suggest that Caitlyn should apologize, or that her success is tainted by white privilege, it's not just inaccurate, it's insulting. It erases the hours she's spent in the gym, the sacrifices she's made, and the mental toughness she's shown under pressure. It disrespects her grind. That's why Caitlyn Clark fans are standing up louder than ever.
Caitlyn Clark is the GOAT.
She signed my jersey! I'm so happy, I'm crying. I'm so happy. This is the best day ever.
Caitlyn Clark effect seems to be crazier than year one.
I love watching her score and just everything about her.
They went the extra mile just to watch her play here.
This is great news for women's basketball. Period.
She just brings so much passion to the game, and look at all these people that just want to come and see her.
It is no secret that the Indiana Fever are the most popular team in the WNBA. It is good for the entire WNBA.
They see through the false narratives. They understand that Caitlyn's journey is about much more than race. It's about excellence, leadership, and paving the way for future generations of players. And unlike Paige, Caitlyn has made it clear with her actions that she doesn't need to apologize for dominating her sport. She's proud of her achievements, and rightfully so. If anything, we should be celebrating athletes like Caitlyn for showing what's possible when talent, hard work, and passion collide. We should reject any narrative that tries to diminish that success based on skin color, no matter who is pushing it. Because at the end of the day, sports should be about merit, not guilt. And Caitlyn Clark is the definition of earned greatness.
There is not one single woman, not one, until Caitlyn Clark, black or white, that captured the national marketing industry ever out of the WNBA. Tamika Catchings, Indy, great player for a woman. Wonderful personality for anybody. Smart, fun, you name it, she had it, but she played in the WNBA. That's all I can tell you. WNBA, not relative in marketability until Caitlyn Clark, period. You can blame it on black, white, green, or purple. You got to have game, and Caitlyn's got a different game, and you got to have personality, and Caitlyn Clark, the way she conducts herself, is the right personality to lead that league. So stop with all the rest of the bullshit.
At the end of the day, this isn't just about a speech or an apology. It's about setting the record straight. Caitlyn Clark doesn't owe anyone an apology for her greatness. She has carried women's basketball on her shoulders, shattered records, broken barriers, and inspired millions, all through hard work, talent, and relentless passion. Yes, Paige Bueckers apologized for what she called white privilege. But we have to be careful about narratives that unfairly drag down athletes who earn their spotlight the right way. Caitlyn Clark earned everything she has, and no apology should ever rewrite that truth. If you agree, and if you love seeing Caitlyn Clark rise above the hate and dominate on the court, type 100% in the comments right now to show your support. Let's flood this video with positivity for one of the greatest to ever play the game. And if you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button because we're not done telling the truth. More videos are coming, and you won't want to miss a single one. Thanks for watching. And remember, facts over false narratives always.